Tune in to the
Shakedown.
Real Talk Radio.
Shakedown Radio.
Real Talk.
Keep it real, we keep it raw.
The Shakedown. Shakedown.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the Shakedown Radio Showcase of Real Talk. I appreciate everybody tuning in right now. Look, we're going to get it down and have a serious conversation. I want everybody out there also go to our YouTube channel, smash that button, show your team members some love right here on the Shakedown Radio Showcase live. And we got that website up and running, that's shakedownshowcase.com. Make sure you check us out. If you want to become part of the team, you guys can go there and check us out right away. And once again, we got a serious topic we're going to talk about right now tonight. I got, like always, my girl to the left of me, Katrina Diamond. What's up, baby?
Hey, everybody. What's going on?
Yeah. And y'all know, like always, I got my main man, Mr. Flick It Up, what it is, man.
Yeah, you already know, man, on here, man. Mr. Flinky.
Yeah, y'all know.
We're going to get it in.
Yeah, we're going to get it in. A serious conversation. Also, I got a special guest, Mr. Alfrederick Jones, motivation speaker, mentor, inspirational all the way around. I'm glad to have him on the show. I'm always glad to have him on the show. I want you guys to look out for him. He's growing big time, expanding territories. He got a podcast coming up soon. So I want you guys to support him as well. He's part of the team member. Mr. Alfred Jones, what's up, man?
What's going on, fam?
Oh, man, he want to – see, I hate when he come in like Barry White. What's going on, fam?
I know, right?
Yeah.
What's going on, fam? I
Yeah,
need to come
go
on
down.
there and rub on his style or something for him to have a little excitement in his voice.
Yeah, and we got a fan, Tish says, what's up, Katrina Diamond? So Tish want to say, appreciate you tuning in, Miss Tish Everhart. Really appreciate that. So listen, let's go on in. Tonight is about youth and suicides. You know, we're going to bring this topic up because this topic is actually getting serious in our community about the youth and suicide, man. And let me explain something to you. There's 5 things that we need to pay attention to when it comes to suicide with our youth. Number 1, we don't need to backstep to figure out what made them attempt to do suicide. Number 1, we need to just move forward and try to get help. Number 2, we must realize that depression is a serious disease that also cause of suicide, right? Number 3, we must ask the question. What it is, a lot of times we don't ask the question and constantly ask the question, what's the matter with each other's life? Look, besides you, we got adults that's committing suicide due to oppression and due to no one asking the question. A lot of times, people that have these suicide thoughts will seem okay. They will say it's okay. But we, as friends, family members, should be able to recognize that they're not okay and continue to ask the question and not to relieve or give up from asking the question. If we need to bring other people in to ask the question, what's the matter or what's going on in their life, we must do this so we can seek help, professional help when it comes to this. Listen, in our community, especially with the youth, things have changed big time. Bully system has changed big time. Before, when we grew up, we were able to go home and tell mom somebody bullying us or dad somebody bullying us, and then they'll send us right back out there. Here, you better knock them out. You better stand up for yourself. You better fight back. You know what I mean? Sticks and stones may hurt your bones, but they won't kill you. You know, words won't kill you. But listen, time has changed. We have technology. We have social media. We have influence of their peers on social media. So now when you go and fight and someone beats you up, next thing you know, it's playing over and over on social media, which is affecting the individual that was attacked or that was beat up, that shuts down, that causing self-diminishing within their self. that causes people to have these suicide thoughts, right? We got also when teens are now getting in relationships that parents are so relaxed about it. Oh, already. I know this lady that her son got another girl pregnant. They're in their teens. They're freshmen in high school, right? And the responsible mother tells her son, I'm not accepting this, but we're going to deal with this. And the daughter's mom goes, oh, this is my son-in-law. Now we in-laws now. And the mother goes, no, that's not the way we handle this. These are kids having children. And some of these kids that are having children don't know how to raise the children, or as the children get older, they allow the child to be acceptable to what's going on as children raising children. So with this, then all of a sudden there's a breakup. Now the female now these days will get hurt, and then there was a girl that just broke up with her boyfriend, and this is not what I'm talking about in Lake Mary, Florida. This happened somewhere else, right? The boyfriend committed suicide. When the boyfriend committed suicide, she felt that it was her fault, and then she committed suicide. We're talking about individuals in our black community. Suicide rate in our black community has risen 60%. Because a lot of us don't take it seriously. We think, oh, it doesn't affect us, but it affects all of us. Black, white, Asian, it's a serious disease, it's a serious issue that we must address, and that we must educate our children and also keep an eye on them. You know what I'm saying? Tell me something, Katrina Diamond. Your experience about this.
Well, my experience about it is I went through it with my daughter, and I'm going to see if I can get her online. I went through it. She was at the age of 10 when I went through it. She tried to commit suicide twice, you know, and it wasn't easy, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when, you know, you going home to a child that's non-responding, you know what I'm saying? And the little bit that she was responding, it was like in and out, you know, and then I'm going in the pills that she took. You know, the doctor's telling me that she got to stay in here overnight because she can have a seizure so bad to where she can die. You know, so it's not easy. It's not easy because it was just her, because I have older kids, so it was just her and I, you know, and I'm working and she's home, you know, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but I'm definitely gonna see if she would get online and she can tell you, you know, a lot of the story herself. You know, because when you talk to your children, and they will open up to other people before they will with their own parents.
That's correct.
You know, but this is what when we were talking last week, me, you, and Alfred, when we were talking last week, this is why I say you have to talk with your children, not at your children. It's a difference. And I had to learn that because a lot of times my thing was I was always yelling. And we have to listen. You know, we have to listen. And I had to grow to understand this because when I was growing up, that's all I heard was somebody yelling. Somebody yelling at me. So I thought that was the way, You know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to always yell. I'm supposed to always yell. But we have to listen to our kids, you know what I'm saying, and talk to them and not at them. And then we can, so they won't be afraid to come and talk to us about different things, you know. And she was depressed, you know, and it was a lot of things, you know, and still this day she still, you know what I'm saying, deal with, you know, a little bit of anxiety and depression and stuff like that, but it's not as severe as when she was younger. You know, at the age of 10, you wouldn't think that a child, you know, is thinking about what is there to be depressed about. You're 10 years old.
Well, here's the statistics
You
in
know?
the African American community. Suicide within the youth is starting from the age 9 to 12. Within this year, the beginning of this year, we done had 36 kids across the U.S. in the African community that committed suicide from depression, being bullied, or just feeling lost. Alfred Jones, as being a mentor with the youth, have you ever dealt with individuals or found out individuals that could not talk to their parents, but they came and talked to you about situations or about depression or how they feeling?
Believe it or not, yes. I want to elaborate on that age group. I'm looking at some statistics, and I've been doing some reading up and studying on this issue for a while. But ages 5 to 12, it says roughly from the ages of 5 to 12, just in the African American community, has doubled, 2 times higher than that of whites.
Wow.
3 of the contributing factors for this increase is 1, bullying, 2, depression, and also poverty. Now, what many of us don't realize, you know, because, you know, we were poor, but we just didn't realize we were poor. 43% of the African American community live below the poverty line. So these are the 3 main contributing factors to our youth turning to suicide as an alternative of dealing with life in this process. And one of the things that stands out is what you guys have already been saying, being aware of the symptoms, being aware of the behavior attributes, and communication will always be the key to receiving quality results. So you're right, Katrina, you can't talk at your child, but have a conversation with your child. That being said, the conversation has to be able to flow both directions. You got to be able to give out and receive. Now, the thing about being a parent sometimes, what your child is saying to you, it may not be comfortable or you may not agree with it, but the point is you have to hear that child's perspective and move according to that. What can we do? How do we approach this? What's our next move? You know, and it's about setting a safe environment, a productive environment, and growing from that. I think that's the problem in a lot of households, because exactly what you just said earlier, how we grew up, you know, we don't have it. That's not in the black community.
Right.
It's right. It's an issue that's rising, and
right.
You know, and one of the stuff that I've noticed from dealing with youth, it starts as, you know, kids acting out, kids cutting themselves.
Right.
Little small things like that are indications that a child is dealing with something and don't know how to deal with it. You feel me? So they're lashing out. They're crying out for help, but they don't know how to cry out. And we have to, you know, sometimes just a simple conversation. How was your day? What problems that you encounter? And that believe it or not, that'll open up a door to a whole other thing that you didn't even know existed. So we got to be, you know, a little more observant. We got to be a little more of a counselor and not a cross-examiner, not a lawyer. You feel me?
Absolutely.
And I agree with you, Alfred, because, you know, it was just me and my daughter at home. I was working 2 full-time jobs. So, you know, I leave the house, you know, in the morning and don't come home until late at night. So she gets home, okay, where her and I had done, established, okay, you do not open the door for anyone. We had a house phone that I called on a regular, but, I wasn't there. My older children would go by and check on her, but it was just her and I. They had their lives, they had their families, so it was just her and I. So, when I get home, sometimes she'll be asleep. You know what I'm saying? So it was more of, I think it was more of, me not being there, outside of her father not being there, and in the morning time when I'm dropping her off, we'll get some conversation, but it was a lot of anger. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of anger. And
I was just going to say, you would be surprised, because I've heard situations, I've dealt with situations like that, where in our eyes as parents, we're doing the necessary things to meet end needs, to take care of the well-being of these children. But in their eyes, they feel like they're being abandoned. No one loves them.
Neglected.
Right.
And that turns into a whole nother attribute, which causes them to become depressed. Because of what's wrong with me. Why don't my mom want to spend time with? Why about my dad? And in our eyes, we're just on the grind trying to make ends meet. But it created a whole other symptom. And and that now you see what the poverty line ties in, where the parents are probably absent from the home, trying to make ends meet, and all these other attributes begin to scale in on the kids, on the mentality. Love is something that has to be reinforced consistently. We just can't say I love you one time and then 2 or 3 years I love you again. It's got to be shown. It's a result that has to be there. And that's what communication is also. Communication, it just can't happen one time. It has to be constantly reiterated. Look, what's going on with you? This is what's going on with me. This is why Dad's not here. This is why Dad's working. He's trying to do such and such. If you feel in a certain way, let me know, man. So I can take time out. We can get through this together. And that's what it's not. I feel like parents should always try to be the kid's friend, but that's not being a friend. That's being a lover.
That's not being a friend.
No.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
they get the two mixed up. But Kay, if we can call Tracy and get her on the line, she would love to speak on it. If we can get her on.
Okay, if you can go ahead and do that and dial her in on and we can get her on and just merge the call if you can do that, and you'll still be on the line. Also, I want to thank everybody for tuning in right here to the Shakedown Radio Showcase and Real Talk, baby. Make sure you tune in every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for the Real Talk right here. Don't forget to go check us out on our website. That's the ShakedownShowcase.com. If you want to come part of the team, make sure you go to the ShakedownShowcase.com. You can figure out how to come part of the team. If you want to start your own podcast, we're here to help you do that. Make sure you go to the Shakedown.com. And we'll be definitely allow that. Make sure you go and support us by supporting us, helping us, keeping this going. Go over to our YouTube channel under Shakedown Showcase, you know what I mean, and smash that button for us. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Tumblr, Spreaker, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Make sure you do that. Also, we just started our hip-hop session, local hip-hop R&B music with my main man, Mr. Flick It Up, and he's doing that Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Sunday nights starting at 10 p.m. Make sure you check that out. Hip-hop music, allow people to listen, also comment on it to find out if the music's hot or not. We're going to help build careers and help people reevaluate their careers right here on the Shakedown. Tonight we're talking about suicide amongst the youth and the community. And right now we got Katrina Diamond. Katrina Diamond, what it is?
Hey, everybody, what's up?
Yeah, and we got my main man, Mr. Flick It Up. Yep.
What's good? This is your boy, Mr. Flick It Up. To get it in, man. You already know.
Yeah, and we got my special guest, Mr. Alfred Jones, motivation speaker, mentor, inspiration to me and others out there. Mr. Alfred Jones, just say what's up to the people.
What's going on, fam? What's going on?
What's going on? So, listen, we was having this conversation about, depression, suicide amongst the black community. I'm going to share a story, and Katrina Diamond's going to trip out on this a little bit. I'm going to share a story, right? As a child, spent half of my years overseas in Germany. Came over to the States and was acclimated within other families that just to get to know, all right? Within that, I became an introvert. I became to myself. Katrina Diamond will tell you, I was antisocial. I did not socialize with anyone, and you found me 79% of my time in my room. Period. I went to school, I socialized with no one. Now this, we're talking about from mid-elementary to junior high. I was antisocial, right? Because I was depressed. And several times at the age of 12, 13, 14, I contemplate suicide.
Wow.
Right? I contemplate, and this is why I said it's going to mess Katrina Diamond up. There was one time I had a sheet in my hand, and I was hanging it up on a door and was about to wrap it around my neck. And she came in and said, "What you doing?" I jumped. I said, "Nothing." She said, "You need to go outside."
Wow. Wow.
This I remember clearly. I didn't get help for my depression, which no one knows about, until 2012. 2012. So I spent half of my adolescent life depressed and contemplating suicide because I felt I was an outcast and being bullied by other individuals in school. But I stood up for myself. But you know what they called me? I was either crazy or don't mess with that guy. He can fight.
Right.
So this has always been a problem in our community. This has always been an issue within our community. But within our community, we act like then that it didn't exist, and it's carrying on to now like it doesn't exist. And it does.
Yeah, man.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Flip It Up.
Nah, I was gonna just say, you know what I'm saying, like it really, to me, you know what I'm saying, yeah, it do involve with the parents, but sometimes it be certain things on how, me personally, I kind of go a little deeper when it comes to the depression. Depression is more like, you know what I'm saying, to me, I'm saying in my opinion, or how I look at it, depression to me is more like, you know what I'm saying, a thought. You know what I'm saying? Like when people be sitting there thinking, and you know, like, cause sometimes, you know, like, yeah, you know, when people be going to school, they be going through little things, or they probably get picked on, like y'all said, they might not have the shoes that everybody else got, or you know, stuff like that, like y'all was saying. But me at the same time, I really do say it is on the parents as well too, but. You feel me? But it really ain't on the parents. It's just the society that we in. No, what I'm trying to say is it's just the society that we in. So it's certain things that me, I'm just saying as a human, how human think, is certain things that trigger people. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like a trigger thing. You know what I mean? Because some people can take things, some people can't. You know what I mean? Some people can just have that automatic defense and could defend themselves, or can go through it and do their thing and win it. But like I said, though, it be certain things that kills a person, period. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I don't know for me, you know what I'm saying? Because I can't really talk and really speak about it. But like I said, though, I only could really speak about it if I really actually, you know what I'm saying, experience that part. But depression, I feel like everyone doesn't experience it, but it is a level to depression. So, you know what I mean? That's what I think that it is really too.
It's
just a level of
depression,
depression.
and I understand where you're coming from. Depression is a chemical imbalance because I didn't even know why I was depressed. I couldn't even figure out why I was feeling the way I was feeling. It was it's a chemical imbalance.
There's something else. I mean, it's not, you know, depression doesn't always necessarily have to affect someone who has lack. There's been plenty incidents where the parents are successful in their career choices, and you know, kids are in great private schools, and it's the pressure of having to live up to the greatness and the marks, big marks that their parents has made that they feel they can't fulfill themselves. See, I mean, one of the things that one of the approaches that I have, especially when I'm talking to the youth or talking to someone that's going through, you know, I always try to reiterate and try to help them identify that greatness that they're designed for. And that is, you know, helping a person realize those natural talents that they do already, their God-given abilities, help them tap into that so they can serve a purpose. Because what that does, that gives a person sensibility. That lets them know that, hey, I am special. I am supposed to be here. I do have a calling. So that's one of the key factors of helping people deal with depression. Let them know they are worthy. You feel me? And that's one of the things we have to implement in our communities. Not always think you just bad, that you just like your father. We can, hey man, you're special. You're unique. You're one of a kind. What you have, no one else has. And that's more of the message we got to try to get to our youth, not only to our youth, but get in our schools and our instructors. You know, we can't just downplay these kids. We got to lift them up. And that's what, you know, that's the alternative to being depressed. Lifting someone up and giving them a forum where they can, you know, express themselves freely. Because sometimes you would be amazed. A lot of these kids are going through some of the same similar problems, and they just need someone to talk to, a warning to belong. You feel me?
Right. We have somebody on Facebook Live that's saying something. Flick it up. Can you see that?
Yeah. It said, I was told that due to many pressures in today's society lead to the constant state of I gotta pull it up some more. I am not good enough. We have to start telling you are good enough. Oh, same thing you just said. Same thing you just said.
Right. Well,
that was Keisha Marie.
we have my baby girl Tracy on that can talk a little bit on her experience. Tracy.
Hey, Tracy.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Hello. I'm doing good.
All right, so we
Tracy,
glad
can you tell us a little about of your experience of fighting depression and committing suicide twice?
Yes, I can. Well, I suppose I've always suffered from depression, even from a young age. That may not seem likely, like how like a 5-year-old or something could suffer depression, but they can. They can. And I think a lot of it was from, my parents separating from a young age. And I did have a good childhood, but I had a lot of anger growing up. And because of that anger, I was pushed away from other kids because I would have random bouts of anger. And people would look at me like, oh, she's not okay. She acts like an animal. But it wasn't something I could control at the moment. I didn't know what was going on. And so that caused me to spiral. And later in life, it got worse before it got better.
Can you talk about the first time when you tried to commit suicide?
The first time I tried to commit suicide was right around the time when my grandmother had died. And I was so depressed that for like a week I couldn't eat, drink, come out of my room. I just shut everybody out. And I was taking depression medication at the time, and I swallowed 2 handfuls full of pills. And it happened that I think a neighbor came and checked on me, and I think they had a key, and they came in, and I was I don't remember what happened, but I think I was sort of coherent, but kind of not coherent at the same time. I was like in and out, and depression had taken its toll on me. And still to this day, I do battle with depression. A lot of times, depression isn't just a one-and-done thing. It can last a lifetime, but it's really, if you have that support to help you get through it, you'll be fine. And if you have the drive to want to better yourself, I know it's hard, but if you really work towards it, I think everyone, if we stand together as a support and a unit, we can all battle depression. Now, the second time I tried to commit suicide was when I was 11. And I had cut myself, and I had taken pills, and I had took so much that I had started to fall asleep on the way to the ER. My mom actually had to rush me to the ER, and I was falling asleep in the car. And so she was trying to keep me awake the entire time, but when they finally got me in the emergency room, I had passed out on the bed. I blacked out. And the only thing I remember is waking up briefly for a moment. They were moving me to my hospital room, and little to my knowledge, I wouldn't wake up until the next 24 hours to know that I'd been in a coma in critical condition for 24 hours. In a comatose-like state.
Tracy, what do you think kind of helped you along with your depression for you to learn how to cope with your depression?
I think you, family, love, friends who understand, friends who are going through the same thing. I think if you have a really good support system, that's one of the major things. Find things that make you happy, you don't make you forget. Find like an escape for a little while, but don't focus solely on that. Depression is a hard thing to get through, but it is possible to get through. I think I had a lot of different coping mechanisms, so just reading took my mind off of it. I think what I did is I just focused on things I really love to do, and that helped me, like music. Music's everywhere, and if you are a real person who loves music, even if it's sad, happy, melancholy, or anything, music was a big helper for me. But also family and support is one of the biggest things that helped me through depression.
And as a parent, y'all, it's hard. Do you mind me sharing a little things with them? As a parent, it's hard. Tracy was being Baker at like 2 and 3 times a week. Okay? It was very hard for me. And, excuse me, y'all.
It's okay. Take your time. We understand. We appreciate you guys sharing the story.
Parents have to understand that they have to pay attention to their children, and even though, I had to work, it was my responsibility to see that, but it had got so far to where, it was so bad to where I had no control. I didn't know what to do. So I had no choice but to find outside help. And I had to put her away for almost a year, in a facility for almost a year, you know, and that was the worst decision a parent can ever make, is putting their child in a facility, because they couldn't, I didn't know what to do. This had gone on for maybe like 3 years to where I said, I need help. I need help. You call, I mean, at once upon a time, the sheriff was called to my house. I called them because she had a knife, you know, and had to lock herself in the bathroom. They had to literally come and bust the bathroom door down. My family don't know half of what I went through at my house. You know, and it's not easy. It's not easy dealing with a child that's suffering from depression, bipolar. You know, it's not easy.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, at least she found something that she's happy of doing, and that makes her feel good, and that's what the key is to life. Period. To find something that you love doing, or find something that's going to really make you happy. Because once you find it, you need to stick with it, and, you know, and that's what it is: love, peace, and happiness, man. Because that's the first thing you got to get. Once you get that love, you get that peace. You know what I mean? And once you
and
get
the most
that,
important thing is family support. Family support.
That too.
You know.
Too.
But, you know, I want to commend you on something else, too, because I think you identified another problem that, you know, a lot of parents wrestle with, because, you know, simply not knowing how to deal with certain situations.
Right.
Sometimes they're embarrassed. They don't know how to reach out. You know, I mean, that's epidemic in the black community as well. You know, what happens in my house stays in my house. And that's not a good environment, because if you're having issues in this environment, it's something in this environment that we need to deal with and set straight. So the fact that you were able to realize, I can't handle this, I need outside resources, that's something that's commendable as you being a parent. And also, that's a suggestion to anyone else out there that's having these same issues. If it's a little deeper sometimes than just talking to the pastor or deacon, whoever. You got to go out and get professional help, because, you know, these kids, like I said, they're facing some real issues in this day and time. And, you know, and just being more aware. But also, you know, like I said earlier, man, you know, always reiterate greatness within the individual.
Yeah.
Let them know, man, this is just something you're going through. And, you know, that God-given potential, let's tap into that, because that's the happiness, like, you know, music or whatever. That's going to help relieve some of those stressful situations. But, you know, always, you know, build them up, don't tear them down. You feel me?
Yeah. And listen, and I think we have to realize, too, in the community that we got to put aside our pride and embarrassment, because a lot of parents in our community would not go get help because they feel embarrassed.
Exactly.
And also, we cannot turn to the church all the time, because they're not experts. They're not experts.
No.
They experts in the book. They experts in the words on that Bible. And a lot of times, God provides us with resources to go out and seek other help.
Well, let me say this, man. You know, Paul's ministry, he always talk about the renewing of the mind.
Yeah.
Depression is a war in the mindset. So we have to correct, you know, and it's sometimes it's a little deeper than just simple prayer. Keep praying, but let's go ahead and put the prayers into action.
You got to put it into action. Yes.
You feel me? And see, that's what a lot of us church people miss. It's not just simply saying a prayer, it's put some action to it to get some results. You feel me? I mean, I got a story I want to share also. I mean, one of my high school classmates, I went to high school with, man, I'm not going to call his name, but he was an athlete, superb athlete, famous, you know, one of the popular guys on campus, went on away from high school, went to making buku money, you feel me? He took his life, you know, and when he took his life, man, you know, we were all like stuck, because this guy was living a good life. This guy had plenty of benefits, but come to find out as time went on, he was wrestling with, because he was so successful and was so able to, generate cash. He felt that no one really loved him for him. They only loved him for what he can do for them. So they caused him to be depressed. So it's not always about being, having lack. Sometimes you can be successful and still feel depressed. No one cares for me because I only have things. It's, because I'm doing things for you. And that broke my heart, because this guy, man, when I say a wonderful individual, lively person, he would have brightened up the room. He's the type of guy that brightened up the room. And that affected his kids so bad that to this very day, same problem. And every time I see him, I just throw my own hand around him, I talk him up. Hey man, Captain, he's getting into the industry now, where he found that one thing that he's good at. So that's helping him wrestle with some of his demons. But yeah, I mean, depression doesn't have a color, creed, religion, gender.
Right.
It can come, sometimes we even wrestle with depression, but we're able to focus on what our purpose is.
Right.
That's the key thing, man.
Yeah, you know what? That's what helped me. Once you find your purpose in life, find it, you focus on it, keep it moving. Also, me being a workaholic was a big help as well. Man, listen, you don't just get over it by overnight. You don't get over it over years, because my family don't know. I keep a bottle of pills with me every day. Every day.
Right.
Friends around me don't know that I keep a bottle with me every day, because you never know when it hits you. And when it hits you, and you don't know why.
Right.
You don't know why. But I'm going to tell you, I've been blessed. I haven't took one of them in about a year now, in about a year, because I've been surrounded by people like you guys, other friends, staying busy, and, man, I swear I'm not fully delivered, but I'm telling you, I know it is. And listen, I appreciate Tracy coming on, telling her story, what she's done, what she's been through. I'm sure that somebody out there hears this and it helps them. I could appreciate Katrina Diamond explaining as a parent, because parents need to hear that. That's so it can help them. And that it's okay to do that, to seek help from other people. Because there's a lot of people last year, this year, that don't know how and have not sought any help and have lost their child due to it.
Right.
It's not easy, y'all. But I thank God where He has, brought Tracy from. From where she was, and it's like she said, it's a day-to-day struggle. But guess what? I'm more in tune now. I'm more of, okay, how are you feeling? You know what I'm saying? What's going on with you? What do we need to do? Do you feel like you need to go back to the doctor? Do you feel like you need to go back and see a psychiatrist? Do you think what do we need to do to help you? I'm more in tune, y'all, because it's not easy. Even for myself, when I first, had my accident, I went from working, 2 and 3 jobs to where I have to depend on family. It's not easy. I was in a sunken place. So it's many things, that can to send you to that place, to that depression, to that sinking place. So, it's not always, the teacup that they tingling, But, man, it's so many things. But we have to recognize what it is. Now that as a parent, and I'm able to recognize when she's low, when she has her highs and her lows. When she's low, I'm on it. What's wrong? What do you need? What do we need to do? You know what I'm saying? You have parents. We have to pay more attention to our kids. I don't care how hard you work. I don't care how many jobs you work. You have to pay attention to your children. the signs are there. No parent can tell me that the signs are not there and that they don't see the signs, because the signs are there.
What we need to do as parents is recognize the signs, and that's one of the things that a lot of us is lacking, is the knowledge, or to be able to recognize the signs, because a lot of times they blow it over, and that's part of my 5 things that people don't know. A lot of people really don't know the signs. Even though the signs are there, they do not understand, but it's something that gives them a little inclinations that something is not right. And as soon as
but you know what, you just identified something else too. When you are the support system for individuals or being part of a situation,
right,
where depression is a key factor, it weighs a toll on the support system as well. So you have to take time out and re-energize yourself, so you're in a healthy place to continue being a support system.
Right.
See, I think that's something that we overlook as well, because I reflect back on the situation with my mom, and man, we talking everything from finance to a whole bunch of other things, and I found myself in a depression mode.
Yeah,
but
it was just being able to see past the now into what's to come. You feel me? I thank God for having a strong mind and being able to see my way through some tough situations. But you got to take time out for whoever you are, the individual, the support system. Go ahead and take that time out and re-energize yourself, because if you're not healthy, you're not going to do the individual.
That's absolutely
who you're trying to
correct.
support any good at all either. So I mean, that's a key factor as well.
That's absolutely correct. That's it. Listen, we appreciate. Go ahead, Katrina.
Even going through it with my daughter, it was exhausting. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was exhausting, and when you're exhausted, it's hard to deal with the situation. And I was drained. And that you have to step back. And this is when you have to find help, ask for help, because it would tear you down. So what Alfred said, it is totally facts, man. You have to be well enough to attack the situation, because if you're not well enough, then you can't handle the situation.
Yep. Man, I appreciate everybody tuning in to the Shakedown Showcase Radio and Real Talk right here on this Tuesday night. Tonight's episode is about depression and suicide among our youth, our community, and we're having a discussion about it. Also, make sure you go ahead and follow us right here on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Smash that button to show us your team members some love. Also, don't forget to check our website out. That is shakedownshowcase.com. If you want to start your own podcast, you want to come part of the team, make sure you go and check out our website, and we'd be glad to put you guys on board and show you how you become a team member, or start your own webcast. Look, tonight is a great episode. We needed this. We needed to have this discussion amongst each other, amongst our community, about suicide rate and depression within our community, how to recognize it, what we need to do as a community and as people and parents and sons and daughters to seek help for depression, or seek help for even the thoughts or the inclinations of suicide on the mind. Katrina Diamond, any final words for the people?
I don't know if we read this one from Tish Eberhard. It says, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. It's a false statement. Words hurt. And that's a fact. Words do hurt. Words hurt to the core. I'd rather for somebody that... Exactly. And that's Bible. I'd rather for somebody to knock the hell out of me than say words that'll tear me down. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Because I know that leak, that hurt is going to eventually go away. But when someone says something that's below the belt, that sticks. It sticks. Yes.
Can I say something on that subject there? I mean, you know, not to get religious and not to be biblical or anything, but, you know, the Most High created the earthly realm and the heavens by simply speaking life. So whatever you say, you give it life, whether it's negative or it's positive.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to come with results. It's going to have life. That's called the power of creation. So if you want to create a healthy situation, you have to speak life to the situation. If you want to create negative situations, you speak life. That's like when you know, in hostility and, you know, how fights get started. It normally starts with a verbal confrontation. And whatever's being said is how that scene is going to play out. So you gave life to a negative situation. So whoever that individual was, they don't understand the power of the tongue. Life and death does reside in the power of the tongue.
Absolutely correct.
Good, or you can make it something bad.
Yep.
Right. Absolutely.
I strongly believe in that, man. You right on the nose. I strongly believe in that. Mr. Alfred Jones, any final words for the people?
I don't want to, lash out at the audience and say, but that's just what we were talking about. Being informed, being knowledgeable about the situation.
Yeah.
Let's get away from, embarrassment, ignorance, not dealing with the situation. Be informed. Being informed, be more aware of what's going on in your community, in your household, with your individuals. Encouraging others. Like I said, let's identify the greatness in each other and let's encourage that. And that's not the only answer, but it is a tool to help get through this thing, man. So like I said, man, just stay informed, people. Stay informed and be aware.
I agree. Make sure you encourage each other, and also try to surround yourself around with people that encourage you, that motivates you, that inspires you.
Yes, sir.
That helps. You know what I mean? Our surrounding, our environment is a big part of it as well. We cannot discredit our environment and our surroundings, because a lot of times it's 75% that causes our depression, that ends up into suicide thoughts. Listen, it doesn't just happen to the poor. Look what happened last year after all the celebrities that committed suicide within the last year.
Yeah.
You know,
and they living at the time of their lives, and they're breaking accounts on slow. You feel me?
Right.
But it's not fulfilling. See, I think a lot of people we try to relate monetary with fulfillment, and that's not always the case. Wealth is
correct.
Not monetary. Wealth is living in a perfect existence. And people get that confused. So I mean, there are so many issues that we deal with on a day-to-day basis in this society that we're not aware that can be detrimental if not handled in the right place. You feel what I'm saying?
I right on the nose. I agree, and you're absolutely right. I cannot agree anymore. Mr. Flick It Up, any final words for the people?
Yeah, and I'm just going to say it like this, man. I keep it real, you know what I'm saying? Just another real talk, So, like I was saying earlier, man, if you will bother with depression and you feel like you're depressed, if you can figure out what really makes you happy, man, you know what I'm saying, do that. Or, like everybody else was speaking on in the group, you know what I'm saying, go seek for some help, man, you know what I mean? Or just at least, open up to someone that you can really trust, that you can really just feel like you can trust, because depression is more about trusting, too, as well, too, because you got to understand sometimes depression is something that's a big secret to someone.
It does.
Huh?
Yeah.
Hello?
So, listen, Mr. Flick It Up, I completely agree with that matter, but also you get those that actually can't speak, will not motivate themselves, and don't know what makes them happy. And that's the time that the ones that are surrounding them must recognize the signs and get the help for them. and pick them up so they can
Yeah,
find that happy face.
that's true. But you got to remember, at the end of the day, man, it's like I told you, because I really believe in that. It really got level in depression, because you know what I'm saying. Because it got people that really just don't, you know, they don't express that depression the way, you know what I'm saying, the way it is. You get what I'm saying? Like, the only way you're gonna know someone that, you know what I'm saying, feeling some type of way when something is changing, when it's a change that's made. Because sometimes depression been up for the longest until they actually really speak out. Sometimes that's what I'm saying. That's why I be feeling like, you know, because I be seeing different type of depression in certain people, and you know what I'm saying. See, this one you ain't never knew. Like Bud said, you never knew until it's actually been spoken or been said. You get what I'm saying? I mean, so we could. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, different people. People deal with it a little different. So it's hard to realize this person is depressed or he's going through something because they had it so mad. Like I said, with my partner, man, I would have never knew this, man. I'm talking about, and this like years after, because it came out. What was the breakdown? What really took place? And you're right, man, because people know how to mask it. Because you don't want to keep a good face because others depend on them. And
you're absolutely
and
right.
It just came out, man. That's one of the things he was wrestling with, man, that made him take his life. Real talk.
Yeah. Man, but like I said, man, I hope whoever listening, man, I hope they really do get help if they ill involved with depression. They really got depression going on, and like y'all said, thinking about suicide. Hey, man, it ain't worth it. Your life is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And let's just do it, man. Let's just get it in, man. Let's live life, man. Until God calls us. Yeah, that's it.
Don't pay attention.
Exactly.
And pay attention. Know the signs. Know your child from day to day. Know who they are. Find out who they are. Talk to them and not at them. Ask them how their day is going. Ask them about schoolwork. Ask them about teachers. Ask them about how the kids treat them at school. Parents, be aware, because you never know. You never know what your child is going through. Talk to them. Ask them. Talk to them. I don't care if it get on their nerves. Continue to talk to them. Talk to them, not at them. It makes a difference.
Yeah. And we must recognize a lot of times our kids will do stuff over and over, and parents will say, "Oh, they always doing this, always do." There's a reason why they're always doing a particular thing.
Right.
That's a lot of times that's a sign of something, or they'll come and tell you something and it's over exaggerated. Over exaggeration is a sign that something is going wrong. Listen, right now you guys are tuned in to the Shakedown Radio Showcase live and Real Talk. We're having a discussion about suicide and depression among the community and our youth, how to find the signs, what you need to do to get help. We also inviting anybody and everybody that's watching to definitely participate, leave comments. You can also give us a call at area code 346-327-4253. I'm going to read that number. That's area code 346-327-4253. You can leave a message also. We'll play it back on the air. We appreciate everybody tuning in, watching. This discussion is actually being good. I don't want to end it so quick here. Alfred, you were saying something about the youth, how they interact with you, or what makes them, or what experience have you found, or what do you do to get people to open up, or the youth to open up about depression or issues that they got going on?
Well, it's just sometimes like, Katrina identified a little earlier. Sometimes, it's hard for an individual to open up to their loved ones or to their parents. So that you being an outside resource, they can sit down and they can talk to you. And, have a freely conversation where it's a two-sided conversation where you're listening and you're listening to what they're saying. And you're also giving constructive criticism. And what I mean by that, when there's certain things you think that are, we can do this a little different, you don't beat them across the head. You just simply show them. A lot of times I draw out a parable, or I put myself in a situation, and I say, how do you think I should handle that? And then they'll catch what I'm saying and relate that to themselves and apply it to their situation. See, those are the type of tactics we have to do. Not, beat them up. Hey, you shouldn't be, listen.
That's
man.
right.
So if I had to redo this again, and the situation came, what do you think? What are some of our options? And that's just it. Making them aware of different options. Because I said something a little earlier. And I believe this. Suicide is self-murder. And depression itself, it can be an enemy to fool you and trick you out of your greatness, trick you out of going for whatever you designed to fulfill. So don't let something have you forfeit your kingdom or your calling in this earthly realm, because that voice that's trying to be silent, someone needs to hear it. That voice that you have, someone needs to hear it. There's a purpose that you are to fulfill that's going to benefit somebody else. So that's why it's all that more important that we nurture our youth, that we help them grow and help them go to the next level. Because there is someone down the line, and it may be you, never know, that they're going to help or going to fulfill, that's going to reach them into a perfect destiny. And I believe that.
Right.
And that's what every individual that's walking this earth, God has designed you for a purpose and has put something in you that the world needs. You feel me?
Right.
So we got to be able to help nurture that. And, obstacles like depression, poverty, I can go on and on. And you would be amazed how we can sit down at the table and tie all these things together, how they almost go hand in hand. And we got to be able to deal with them and be able to talk through them and educate each other about it. Like you say, awareness, knowing what's going on with your child, knowing what's going on in the environment that they're in. Because sometimes an unhealthy environment to them, in your eyes, like we, the example you gave, you were just going to work, trying to be a good parent, trying to pay bills, make ends meet. And that gave room for other things and elements. This child was thinking other ways. And I get it. I understand it.
I agree.
I know how they feel. You feel me? So it's always two sides to a story. We got to be able to be able to accept. Because some of that stuff you're going to hear, you trust me, you ain't going to like it. I can recall several times sitting down with my boys and my girl, and, I'm out here busting my behind. That's how you feel? Well, Dad, I just needed you. You feel me?
Wow.
Let me ask you this: when you've had a child to come to you and to express to you their feelings, and it was something where you needed to address it with the parent. Have you ever had a parent to say, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with Billy Joe. He's fine. He goes through that." How do you handle that? I know how to handle it. How would you handle it? Or have you ever had that happen to you? And if so, how did you handle it?
Unfortunately, I never had to deal with the situation because for as a parent not wanting to, hear what another adult had to say for us dealing with a kid.
Yeah.
Normally it's someone reaching out for help. So so they were more than willing to, we'll try this. You feel me? And, I pray to God that we never have to deal with a situation where a parent will be that, the word would be ignorant to the situation and not willing to realize that, hey, something that I'm not used to. But see, you know what? And that mindset ties right back into that traditional mindset that, our community has always had. Not in my house. We don't do it. Black people don't do this.
Right.
True.
Yeah, that old school mentality that we don't do this in my house. This don't happen in my house. We're not going to do that. You need to straighten, talking like Katrina Diamond said, talking to Adam and not trying to find a solution. And that's the reason why a lot of our youth or a lot of our kids commit suicide. Because we talk Adam and not trying to find the problem, and we stuck in our old ways, the old school ways that was passed down generation after generation. that try to
You know what, man?
Yeah, hey, but I was gonna say something. I want to say something real quick. No, but at the end of the day, yeah, my fault. But at the end of the day, you gotta remember when y'all keep saying like the old school, like that. But you gotta remember that, you know what I'm saying. This is something that they results. They got their own results. So if you gotta remember at the end of the day, like their mindset and what they've been going through and what they did or whatever they mamas, they parents, you know what I mean, done raised them a certain way, and they turn out to be the way who they are or whatever. That means that they turn out to be fine. So in their mindset, they're not expecting that, especially with the ones who's not experiencing that. So they will see on that.
But you know what?
What?
They may see. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, let me jump in right quick. Figure it out. Let me ask you a question now.
Go ahead.
I'm glad you said that, because that old school mentality, you know, the first thing they will lash out and say, "Hey, ain't nothing wrong with you, such and such. I got to it, you can get to it."
Right.
But here's the thing.
Right.
That's a Band-Aid. That's not dealing
Yeah.
with it.
Yep.
That's not a root cause analysis. You feel me?
Yeah.
And I can look back several generations where we let's say generational curses were passed on simply because no one wanted to deal with, analyze, and fix situations.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. We and another thing, we cannot continue. So what we got to do is, with this generation, we got to be able to not just identify, but let's fix it. Because see,
Exactly.
they're turning to the alternative of suicide as an escape.
Yes.
I don't want you to try to escape. I want to prepare you to deal with it and move forward. You feel me?
Yes.
So that's what we got to prep them for, success.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the real reason why I was saying that, to get that point out of what reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Of what reason why it's like that? Because
I've seen it.
yeah, because if someone, like, I'm being real, like with you know what I'm saying. I mean, I ain't got no kid to, you know what I'm saying, that was actually you know what I'm saying, going through depression like that. You know what I'm saying, as a parent or whatever like that. So that's what I'm saying. It's going to be kind of hard for me to even actually to explain it. But I done had like classmates, like how you say you know, had classmates. I had friends who, you know, that went through depression and they killed themselves, like even last year. You get what I'm saying? So, but I already expected that in high school. You understand what I'm saying? So when that happened, and I seen that happen to him, I was not really too much like surprised. I was like, dang, it really hit him this time. You get what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, like, it's kind of hard though. It's kind of hard for me to actually. I'm gonna be real. It's gonna be hard for me to actually really recognize it without no communication. Like, it's gonna be hard for me, even if I talk, and if you can't tell me, I'm not gonna really. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to be honest. I'm not going to really see it, like, until it's communication, until we really actually talk.
But that's when you try to find help in somebody else to recognize and be able to do it. We got Miss Kimberly Ann saying something on Facebook Live. Can you read that out for her?
It says go ahead.
Some parents don't take time to listen to their kids. Some kids can't be open and express themselves because of their parents. Because their parents don't take the time to listen. And that's where some parents fail. Fail their kids. Hold on. Fail their kids. They ignore the signs.
Hey, that's real, Kimberly. We were just talking about that earlier, too. That's real.
Yeah. She's right on the point.
You got to pay attention. You got to pay attention. You have to, you know what I'm saying? Because there is something that this child used to do that they don't do anymore. There's something that, you know what I'm saying? It is something, you know, that has changed about this child. But if you're not paying attention, if you don't have that eye, you know what I'm saying? You won't see it because you're not paying attention as a parent.
Mm-hmm. You know, all right, I want to ask y'all.
So, you know what I'm saying? Okay, let me go, you know, come on, let's go this place. So don't think money is everything. You can't buy a child's love. You can't buy a child's attention. You have to pay, because it's not all the time that they want you to spend money on them.
Right.
Yeah.
I learned that.
They
Yeah.
just want
I was going to say that. I was going to ask y'all this question. Like, all right, then, I'm just thinking of that. Okay, what if a scenario like this, okay, a kid, you take his phone, you take his or her phone away, right? And they talking about or they get depressed because you're taking their phone away.
But,
or you taking their game away. Because I know I've seen that somewhere where, you know what I'm saying, a parent take the kid's game and he end up hurting himself because of the game, because he couldn't have the game. You know, what about those, like, that's what I was saying about the level of depression, because they got people that kill themselves for things that they've been disciplined about, or it was wrong about, or like what is that right there? Like how can y'all really actually explain on that part?
All right.
Is that still a
So that depression is called attachment depression. When you remove something and they get depressed, they actually were depressed before that object became in their life. They came attached and drowned their depression or themselves within that object, that video game or the phone. When you remove that, it opens up the depression for them to express in the physical world, because they no longer have that device or anything to distract them or indulge into. It's just like when you got autistic kids and these fidget spinners. These fidget spinners are for them to keep their attention, to be able to not fidget with other things, but be able to study. But if you take that
it's
fidget...
stimulation. That's their way of stimulation. You know what I'm saying? Autistic kids, I work with autistic kids.
Uh-huh.
That's what they stimming, you know. And it's different things that they stem with.
But you know what? Just want to piggyback on your attachment analysis. And if you dig a little deeper, that attachment, that object or whatever they're attached to, is normally the substitute for a lacking in that area.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
A lot of kids, you know, they dig, like you say, their cell phones, their gaming systems, or whatever, social media. That's 9 times out of 10 is subbing for the lack of maybe, you know, that parent being a little more
basically attention
in their life. You feel me? So you got to find out what's going on there. So that's a two-parted issue. So you know,
right.
Especially when you take the phone and the child lashes out. You know, I can't, because I've seen it. I can't live without my phone. Well, why you know, that instantly threw me. It was my niece, and I jumped in the conversation. I'm like, so why can't you live without your phone? If my phone had it, I said, well, so you mean to tell me you can't pick up, you know, you can't, you know, do other things, pick up a book and read. So and then next day we're in a whole other conversation. So actually, you got tons of things you can do that you don't need your phone. You feel me?
Right.
And that's, again, this is that social media and new age mentality. But we got to find out what are these kids using these substitutes for, you know, to these items. It's not always healthy. You feel me? iPhone, you know, it's a great device, but that should not be raising your kids.
Right.
Television
and also
YouTube should not be raising your kids.
Well, autistic kids, but you know, autistic kids is different from what we're talking about, because autistic kids, when they have, you know, they might have a tendency of hitting themselves, but if they have something in their hand, they're not going to hit themselves. Right. You know what I'm saying? They have something else to do you know, to do with their hands. Right. You know, so that's a little different than what we're talking about. No. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So I I understand, but I'm saying, but what I'm saying is I understand what you're saying. I ain't talking about like really. It's been. I wish I could pull it up or I could find it, but they have like, you know what I'm saying, where they got kids when they taking something from them or whatever like that. It has been taken from them, and they end up, you know what I'm saying, really actually like just like you said, cutting their arms. As in same thing with, you know what I'm saying, someone who's depressed, like cutting their arm, they can't get their game, they can't move, you know what I mean? So, I feel like that's still the same thing. I mean, to me, it's still the same thing, but just in a different situation. But I mean, you sticking your arm and the same person who's having depression or something else, it's just a problem. That's what my point is. It's still a problem. You know what I'm saying? Depression.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we gotta also realize there's different types of depression. There's not just one type of depression. You gotta understand also social media is 60% cause of suicide among the youth. 60% of the youth commit suicide due to social media. Not due to what somebody did physically to them, but what somebody did to them cyberly. That's a problem.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true, yeah, because now things is not private anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you were saying earlier, like, you know, that you get in a fight, you know what I'm saying? And if you get beat up, okay, cool. All right, boom, I got beat up. But, you know, me and you know what? You might spread the words, but nobody really actually see it. But now, they put that thing on Facebook, we see it, and now it's a world star.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying? Now you might be on Foolish, you know what I'm saying? I mean, ridiculous, that the show ridiculous. So you never know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but social media needs to be taken as a responsibility. Listen, my kids didn't get on social media until their junior year of high school. I did not. It's a responsibility. It's a responsibility of teaching them or showing them. I did not allow none of my kids on social media until around their junior year of high school. And I would know, anybody know I'm a tech guy, if they were on social media. And we searched their phones. So they weren't on social media in elementary, junior, or middle school. Did not allow it. Did not allow it at all.
You know what? Another strategy I've seen done with the dealing with depression, and you guys will talk about social media. I'm watching Eric Thomas, and you know, and Flick It Up, you mentioned World Star.
Yeah.
And how kids will, you know, a fight break out, they break out their phones, them in the fight. You feel me? And it's two young men, they just engaged in the fight. I mean, they locking up like pit bulls. I mean, they going at it. But then he broke away from the scene of the fight.
Yeah.
And what he went into, he was like, it's amazing how we would be at each other, you know, in a moment ready to kill each other, but we won't fight for what's been designed for us.
Right.
You get what I'm going.
Right.
You get what I'm going.
Yep.
So instead of, you know, like I said, we gotta try, you know, treat the symptom. You feel me? Don't give the, you know, don't encourage the escape route, but encourage, you know, the building up. Showing, hey, let's fight for this. Fight for your destiny. Fight for your greatness. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things I'm gonna keep putting, because that's my thing, man. You gotta keep reiterating to the kids and to the youth, they are someone, they are special, they are designed for greatness. You gotta keep telling, because see, when you're depressed, you're thinking that the world don't know you exist. No one cares about you. No one loves you. You know, whatever it is, whatever negativity, we gotta flip it into a positive.
I agree.
That's when you begin to see results.
I agree. Listen, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Shakedown Radio Showcase live in real life, real talk right here on this Tuesday. Don't forget to go to our website, shakedownshowcase.com. That's shakedownshowcase.com. If you want to start your own podcast with the Shakedown team, or if you want to just come a team member, we'll show you guys how to do that. Just go to the shakedownshowcase.com. Make sure you do that. Also, go over to our YouTube channel. I appreciate everybody that's tuned in to our YouTube channel. Yo, show us some love by smashing that button, showing us some love, following us right here. Listen, we're a little over our podcast time, so we're about to end it out. Listen, like I always say, motivate yourself to inspire others, to inspire yourself.
Yourself.
You know what I mean?
Radio.
Tune in to the
Shakedown.
Real Talk Radio.
Shakedown Radio.